rights up here. Start sending us your video.
All right. Well, I don't know.
Oh yeah, no, there you go. We're live. It looks like it. I think I see. Yep, there you go. Finally, sorry about that, good people. For whatever reason, the Vimeo software that we use to go live on multiple platforms, because we use
Didn't want to play.
Didn't want to play this morning. Decided to start us on Facebook, and then threw us.
What's the matter?
Then threw us nuts onto YouTube, and he wants to throw up. That's
is that it?
Yeah,
Oh no.
He's going to throw up all over something. Yeah,
that's delightful. We'll have to just talk loudly so you can't hear it. He was down here crying to be petted, and I don't know where he went.
I just...
Probably he's on the right by where your chair goes, so that you'll step in it.
Exactly.
Anyway, so it's Fantastic Fridays, and welcome to Elevensies. And sorry we're a little bit late, but as usual, technology doesn't like to always cooperate. So we're here now. And on Fridays, we like to tell you the story of us.
We do, which is weird and wonderful. It has to be said.
All right. So I know that we've told you the story of the Thai restaurant and the mother of all the people that worked there.
That was just
coming
wild.
While we were eating dinner asking please for us to deliver messages. And I know that we've told you about the day that Rogan was at the desk in the shop.
We have video of that.
We have this video where the tablecloth moves.
Sneaky bit.
And when he turns around, it stops. And then he answers the phone again, and it moves. And when he turns around from the phone, it stops. And then he turns to the phone again, and then it falls off onto the floor. So it isn't like it was just the weight of it pulling it off, because it was in three completely separate sections.
I think people like to mess. The spooks like to mess with Rogan, don't they? They really do. And
he saw every time
because when you sense something out the corner of your eye, and he turned to look at it, and there is no, there's nothing going on here. Turned away, gabba gabba gabba, and it goes. It's like really funny when you watch it on the video. It's like really cool.
Well, he's also seen.
Maybe on YouTube.
There's a spirit that Lori calls Phoebe, who's an older lady that stands on the stairs and rings her hand a lot. She's always very nervous.
Oh,
and Lori calls her Phoebe. And one night when Rogan was closing, Phoebe said, "Hi." And he's like, "That's it. I'm not closing by myself anymore."
The spooks are okay. They mean nobody any harm. Unless, of course, you mean us harm. Then they'll scare
a long time ago, when we bought 180, we had our alarm system moved there. Because, we have things that we don't want to be left unprotected. So we had an alarm system put in. And it kept going off. So the guy came back. He was really nice. His name was Billy. He was an older guy. And he said, "Well, I've checked everything. There are no shorts. And the backup is plugged in right. Everything is fine. We'll see what happens this week." And it kept going off. So he came back and he said, "I think I have to have a special system for this building. Now, hear me out." As if he was going to have to explain it to me.
So here's a bill. Well, it was a bill, but here's Bill with a bill.
He said, "I think your system needs to be one that detects body heat. Sometimes a spider could get in the system, or, I think we need one that detects body heat. So that's the kind of system that we have, because the apparitions then won't set off the alarm system." Which brings me to what we're going to talk about today, paranormal activity.
Oh, we got oodles of it.
So Anton has been kind of beefing up our security as far as cameras go. We did have someone who took the donation can for candy and water for the church.
Yep.
Took it out onto the porch and emptied it out of the money. They left the spell in the bottom with some coins and left it on the porch. So thankfully they left our can and they left our spell. But if we had had any kind of monitoring system on the porch, we would have known who did it.
Yeah, there was a blind spot quite
So Anton decided it's time to put up cameras on the porch and a camera in the back, because there's some kind of homeless person in a tent in the vacant lot next door.
That's very true.
we just want to know what's going on there after dark.
Yeah, we just want to keep people safe. you know, and yeah, sometimes, you know, surveillance, yeah. An ounce of prevention is better than a pound of cure, isn't it? You know, I think the person wouldn't have, you know, done what they did if they'd have known they were in full sight of you know, of a camera, you know,
They
looking
probably
at,
wouldn't have
because
taken
they'd sized it up and they moved to a place on the porch where they couldn't be seen. So
Right, because we did have a front door camera.
yeah, we still do.
That looks out to the road, and that's how we caught the guy who stole the Caradwen statue.
Yeah, but you know, there are blind spots to all cameras, so
Well, there aren't anymore.
Well, there aren't anymore.
Except
so technology is good. We like it, and it's all modern, and smart doorbells are all wonderful and all that sort of stuff. But we keep getting notifications at weird times, like who's on the porch?
1 in the morning, somebody's on the porch.
Who's on the porch at 11:30? So we have
This
with all
morning
the
was
smart
like
stuff.
6 something.
Six
Somebody's on
o'clock.
the porch.
Yeah, so we can immediately drop on with our phone or even our watches, you know, and just see what the heck's going on there. Nothing. You play the recording back, nothing.
So there are spooks.
What's going on here?
There are spooks on the porch at 180.
There's definitely some form of activity going on there. Hello, Wendy. Thank you if you've joined us on the Tube of You. It's gratifying to note that we are in fact working, because we weren't. We had some issues this morning with
Shauna, Brenda, and Kathleen on Facebook.
Well, welcome one and all. That's marvelous and beautiful and brilliant and fantastic.
So yeah, I think that our lives in general have been very interesting, and especially this time around, the time of the ancestors.
I love this time.
You know, we really honor those who came before us, and I think not a day goes by that we don't mention to each other, oh, my dad or my mom or you know, my grandpa or whatever it was.
Well, you know, without our ancestors, we simply would not be, would we? You know?
And my cousin posted a picture from my parents' 40th wedding anniversary party the other day.
Please don't step
I
all
was
over the
16.
computer.
I was 16, and I look so funny, but she said she misses them very much, and I said, oh, I miss them too. And then I realized, you know, they got married in 1940, so that picture was from 1980.
Oh my God!
And that was 40 years ago.
Yeah, 41 years ago even. Yeah. That doesn't sit well with me that the 80s was 40 years ago. That's not right. I mean, Danny and I were making candles yesterday evening, and I was introducing her to some bands that, you know, she's young, she's in her 30s, like, so, you know, you would think she'd be down with the kids and all, but there seems to be a lack of decent new music.
It's all recycled. And,
and a lot of people remaking all stuff.
You know, you're just dating yourself, because all old folks say that about the current generations.
Well, yeah, to a young kid, a 30-something-year-old is old.
Exactly.
To a 16-year-old, a 36-year-old is old.
For me, I just can't stand the vocoding and the nobody can sing without being drawn into pitch anymore. So that's kind of a tough thing. I say nobody, but there are a few people out there.
I got to tell you this, it's worse than that. I found out from my friend Rick Birmingham the other day. It's hilarious. He's a sound engineer as well and records and all that, plays around. The new thing in New Country now is auto-tuned fiddle. I'm not blowing smoke up your butt. What the hell?
Auto-tune
fiddle. Anyway, that's not paranormal.
You don't have to play. You don't have to play. You don't have to sing. You could just do it on digital.
You see, we're frightful snobs. Where we come from, pressing play does not constitute a live performance. No.
Hi, Jen.
That's it.
Jen, the spooks set off the doorbell alarm all night long.
Maybe it'll settle down as we move further away from it. The veil is getting to its thinnest. We're not there yet.
Thinnest, 15 degrees.
I wonder if we'll actually see an apparition. It's wonderful.
In the cameras? I don't know.
You wonder.
We probably see orbs. I'm sure we'll see some orbs.
Oh, always, yeah. And we see the paranormal activity. Case in point with the tablecloth. But I don't think we've ever caught one on camera yet.
No.
And umpteen people have actually met them face to face in our store as well.
One person was talking about they were down in the basement and saw a man this week, and he wasn't really there when they went down to get bags. So.
Well, it'd be a bit scary if there was somebody in the basement. I mean, how the heck do you get down there?
Yeah, climb in a window, I suppose.
I found a big-ass rat snake down there one time, I have to say that.
He pretended to be a cobra, but it didn't work.
And a rattlesnake, he was rattling his tail, and he got attitude, let me tell you. He got...
Jen says, haha, it was very active upstairs yesterday.
Oh!
Yeah, many times you hear people walking around upstairs, and then we do a head count, and we're like, but we're all down here.
Who's
the
okay?
best one was one day, it sounded like 4 people stood up and pushed their chairs out together in the kitchen. You know,
family meal, yeah.
And yeah, we were all downstairs, and we just looked at each other like, okay.
And we know it's not the cats moving furniture. Well, if it is the cats moving
furniture, the cats don't live there right now.
It's not the cats that are on this mortal coil right now. Yeah, I mean, because we do see pussycats as well. And
oh yeah, we've seen cats.
Oh, I think the weirdest thing that was your reading room in Ludlow.
Oh, I'd love to talk about that.
Do go for it.
I don't know if we've told you this story.
I know we haven't. Just come to mind.
But the Ludlow store started on one street, and it was really long and skinny, and went all the way back to a different street. So the 2 back rooms of the shop were actually on the street behind, and then the front room of the shop was on the street in front of the store, obviously. And it was built in 1479.
Yeah.
So we've told you that we put a lot of work into remodeling and getting everything ready. And there was a beautiful front room and a long, long hallway. And the hallway had a door up to the apartment, which was crazy higgledy-piggledy.
Just getting upstairs was a laugh.
There was a long, long hallway that we did a run of all our candles and candle glass and stuff. There was a big back room with a beautiful wooden floor that we used as our kind of pagan room. We had all books and tarot and... we had crystals and pagan stuff in there, statuary. And then you went down 2 steps, and there was a big room with all tiled floor that Ruthie's father had done bookcases for, which were beautiful. And that was our book nook.
It was kind of wild, though. Very low
and that had a
ceiling,
French door that half opened and you could leave half closed. And then there was 3 or 4 more steps down into this little kind of basement room. And we said, well, we don't really want to use that for storage. So we cleaned it all out and scrubbed it, painted it purple.
Put a lovely carpet in.
Put a lovely thick carpet with big damp resistant underlay. And that was my reading room. And it was really cool. It was kind of like in this little purple cave.
It was cool. It was ridiculously cool.
So I was sat down in there one day, and I could see and hear what was going on in the store. And there was a lady and her daughter who I think was maybe 3. She was talking better than the 2-year-old, but anyway. So she said, Mommy, look at that dog. And her mother said, well, I don't see a dog. And she said, there's a dog with funny ears. She said, I don't know. Well, all right. She said, and a funny tail. And she was looking down into my room. And there were many times that I kind of felt like there was something under the table. You know how like a dog will curl up at your feet? I didn't think anything of it more than that because it's my weird life. Well, a few months later, I was in the book nook and I had the top door open to the street. And this really elderly lady, I would say had to be in her 80s, maybe 90s.
Probably in her 90s, yeah.
With a cane.
She was up
was slowly hobbling along with her little market basket. And she knocked and she said, oh, look how beautiful. Can I come in? And I said, sure, it's a store. We usually didn't let people in and out of the back door, though, because the register was all the way up in front. But I opened the door and let her in, and she said, my father used to have this shop when I was a little girl. I said, oh, really? What was it? She said, oh, it was a butcher shop. I said, really? She said, yes. And that room down there was the abattoir. He did all of his own meats. So I come to find that the dog with the funny tail and the funny ears was actually a pig that had been slaughtered in that room. So I was very kind to it, and I tried very hard to send it on its way. But it could have been there, what, 50, 60, 70 years?
Who knows? Who knows?
Yeah.
But it's really, pigs are amazing creatures, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And it was probably about that time that Caradwin said you ain't eating pork no more, isn't it? It was probably about then, I think. So, and of course, Caradwin comes to us as the White Sow in the fourth branch of the Mabinogi as well. So there's really that kind of special connection there. But, oh, yeah. It's some, our minds all go to spooks and spooktacular stuff.
Well, it's that time of year. How, it's a wonderful time for divination this time of year.
Yeah.
And, when you have introspection and wonder, that's when you discover and learn things.
You do. Good morning, Gilda.
Brenda said, did Rocky come knocking? I don't know who Rocky is, but other than Sylvester Stallone. But.
Well, there was Andre the Giant came knocking.
Andre the Giant came knocking.
Somebody
yes,
actually did come knocking. That was like weird. But yeah, no.
We have all kinds of things going on all the time.
It's amazing we've always had properties have always got such character here, and where we are now, where you grew up as a little girl, although it's not the same structure. Sadly, that burned down when you were a kid, and she's still
traumatized.
Traumatized.
This is the third house on this. I don't think I'm traumatized.
Well, a little bit. You're still worried about fire.
I'm still worried about fire. I'm cautious, but that's another story for another day.
But I remember you saying when you were growing up, it was like Grand Central, and
in my closet.
It was trying to listen to all this kind of weird, different language radio static that's coming.
Oh, your camera, time. Rocky Raccoon. No, there's nothing on the camera. Nothing on the camera.
Yeah, no, it's not. It
front
would
doorbell.
pick up. It would pick up a.
They're like ringing the front doorbell, but there's nobody there.
Yeah, it's interesting. And, for those of you military types, you'll understand the terms interlocking or overlapping arcs of fire. The cameras are set up such a way as there is no possible blind spot at all on the porch now. At all. You can't get onto the porch without being observed. You can't move on the porch without being observed. The cameras are saying there's something there. We can't see it. That's all I can say.
Oh, I had another friend who texted me today and said, what's going on in the stars? My animals are acting crazy. And I said, spirits draw near. She's like, oh, great. So they're seeing cats and dogs that used to live here. I'm like, yep, probably. I
love it when the cats are looking up over your shoulder and mortified, and you go,
okay. Well, I had another friend when her daughter turned 21 this year, but when she was little, she taught her children how to sign before they could speak.
Oh, was she deaf?
No.
Well, what a wild thing to do.
But this way they could
How
ask...
How inclusive viewpoint.
They could ask for milk, or they could ask for, whatever.
How cool.
And her oldest daughter turned 21 this year, but I remember when she was 18 months, they came in the store and they were talking, and she did this. She was looking over my head.
Was that a bird?
Yeah. But it's something that flies.
Ah.
So Carrie was like, I think there are angels or spirits up in the ceiling, because every once in a while she would go like this. And then she'd be back in the
Yeah, scientifically, we've talked about this. The fontanelle point at the top of your skull. Because it doesn't really close up until you get to 3 or whatever, is it? Something like that? It's still sort of slightly open?
It's soft for quite some time. So you've just come from a different,
from other...
We're all just recycled,
Absolutely.
Well, that's what we believe in, reincarnation anyway. But yeah, so Ronnie was like,
How wild is that?
Yeah. Before she could even really talk.
I love it. I love it. I love it. I suppose it's only natural. You'd have to be a witch then, isn't it? So just that weird stuff. Yeah. One of my favourite quotes, and I saw a meme this being the one that terrifies the city folks in the forest or whatever. But I love Terry Pratchett put it far better and said, any any witch should know in a heart of hearts that the scariest thing in the forest would be her. Mm-hmm. So therefore she shouldn't be frightened when she walks through the forest. Please don't walk on the computer, Skittle.
All right, we're going to have card of the day now.
Are we? Okay, because we got a ton of stuff to do.
As usual, and tonight is big.
Oh, we're talking about those that have passed on.
Well, we are in the sign of Scorpio, and we are in that energy of other and death and paranormal kind of activity. My reading for you for today is, don't just assume that you're being betrayed. Sit with the energy and figure out what the motivation is, because someone may need your grace.
Yeah, and this to me, although the situation may look ostensibly hopeless, there is always hope. There is always hope. Remember that when Pandora's box was opened and all of the evils and everything came out in the world, the only thing that was left behind, the only thing that remained was hope. And if you notice the fingers are crossed here, my fingers are crossed, that's a symbol of hope, And also we have a rising sun. It's always darkest before dawn. They say that, but that's not actually true, But you know what I mean. It's like the night is at its longest just before dawn, and it feels like this is hard and difficult and what have you. But a new day will dawn. A new day will dawn, and there is light in the horizon, and morale comes up when the sun comes up. So keep your fingers crossed. There is always hope, and just certainly plan for the worst, but always hope for the best. I think is the important thing.
So that's your card reading today is hope.
Maintain hope. Yep. Maintain hope.
Plan for the best.
Because that's what keeps people sane in very difficult situations. They do. So it's and honor those, because we're talking about ancestors and spooks.
Yeah.
If I could speak,
all right.
There's too many spook, whatever. If I could only get my tongue working. Do be mindful of your ancestors, those that have gone before us and those that are still very much a part of us. And if you feel that way inclined, raise a glass or whatever
light a candle
you do
tonight or
in
tomorrow
their honor.
or the next few days.
And just say thank you. And I'm thinking of you, because those who remembered live.
Those who are remembered live.
Yes, so might it be.
Peace and blessings. Have a wonderful weekend.
Thank you so much for watching.
Happy Halloween.
Oh, yes, it will be. Yes, it's over the course of this weekend, Sunday, isn't it? So
a lovely parade and all that. Anyway, let's go.
Don't start me. Don't start me now. Thank you. And apologies once again for the discombobulation trying to get going. Our systems decided they didn't want to play. So
sometimes
thank you.
They just don't.
Thank you. Thank you for
all
watching
right.
us. Have a beautiful and amazing day. Do please tell your friends all about us. Like, comment, and subscribe. Have a beautiful weekend. And bendithion nos galangeyev.